YAH, please fill me with the Ruach HaKodesh, that I may speak your written words with boldness to those who listen. I ask all these things in Yeshua HaMashiach's name, amen. We'll start with the Shema, listen and obey. Children of Yah, pay careful attention and respond. Yahweh is our power and authority. Yahweh works in unity with himself, and you shall act upon your love to Yahweh with your power and authority, with your thoughts in mind, with your entire body, and with all the muchness that you have. 2 Corinthians chapter 10. Now it is I myself, Shaul, making an appeal to you with the meekness and forbearance that come from the Messiah. I, who am considered timid when face to face with you, but intimidating from a distance. But I beg you, do not force me to be intimidating when I am with you, as I expect you to be towards some who regard us as living in a worldly way. For although we do live in the world, we do not wage war in a worldly way, because the weapons we use to wage war are not worldly. On the contrary, they have God's power to demolishing strongholds. We demolish arguments and every arrogance that arises itself up against the knowledge of God. We take every thought captive and make it obey the Messiah. And when you have become completely obedient, then we will be ready to punish every act of disobedience. You are looking at the surface of things. If anyone is convinced that he belongs to the Messiah, he should remind himself that we belong to the Messiah as much as he does. For even if I boast a little too much about the authority the Lord has given us, authority to build you up, not tear you down, I am not ashamed. My object is not to seem as if I were trying to frighten you with these letters. Someone says, his letters are weighty and powerful, but when he appears in person, he is weak, and as a speaker, he is nothing. Such a person should realize that what we say in our letters, when absent, we will do when present. We don't dare class or compare ourselves with some of the people who advertise themselves. In measuring themselves against each other and comparing themselves with each other, they are simply stupid. We will not boast about what lies outside the area of the work which God has given us. Rather, we will boast within our assigned area, and that area does reach as far as you. We are not overextending our boasting as if we are not reached as far as you, for we did not come all this way to you with the good news of the Messiah. We do not boast about the area in which others labor, but our hope is that as your trust grows, we will be magnified in your midst in relation to our own area of work, so that we can go on to do even more, namely, to proclaim the good news in regions beyond you. Our hope is not to boast about the work already done by someone else. So let anyone who wants to boast about Yahweh, because it is not the one who recommends himself who is worthy of approval, but the one whom the Lord recommends. So Shaul pulls from Jeremiah 9:23. Let anyone who wants to boast about Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh. Jeremiah 9:23. 9:23. Instead, let the boaster boast about this, that he understands and knows me, that I am Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh, practicing grace, justice, and righteousness in the land. For in these things I take pleasure, says Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh. How can we learn to love our Creator after reading 2 Corinthians chapter 10? You can learn a lot. When making an appeal, do it with meekness and forbearance that comes from Messiah. Aim to live as Yeshua lived. When waging war, do it in a godly way, with the weapons and armory he wants us to use. Ask for God's power for demolishing strongholds. Aim to demolish arguments and every arrogance that raises itself up against the knowledge of Yah. Aim to take every thought captive and make it obey the Messiah. Know and trust that when you become completely obedient, then you'll be ready to punish every act of disobedience. Aim to look deeply into things. Trust that we who have placed their trust in Messiah all belong to Messiah. Know that Shaul was not ashamed to boast a little too much about the authority that the Lord has given him. That is the authority to build you up. Aim to encourage with your words to those who trust in Messiah. Aim not to compare yourself with others that advertise themselves. Know that Shaul thinks it is stupid to compare yourselves to others. Know that Shaul boasts within his assigned area that God has given him. Aim to share the good news as far as you can with the power of Yah. Aim to hope for those to have their trust grow. Aim to proclaim the good news in regions beyond where you have already shared the good news. Shaul quotes Jeremiah 9. Let anyone who wants to boast about YAH. It is the one the Lord recommends who is worthy of approval. How can we love others as Yeshua loves us? When making an appeal, do so with meekness and forbearance. How can we produce spiritual fruit, or examples of producing spiritual fruit? Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, humility, and self-control. And how can we bear one another's burdens? We can aim to share the good news with the power of Yah. End with the Aaronic blessing. YAH will kneel before you presenting gifts, and he will guard you with a hedge of protection. Yahweh will illuminate the wholeness of his being towards you, bringing order, and he will provide you with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yahweh will lift up the wholeness of his being and look upon you, and will set in place all you need to be whole and complete. Amen.